Thank you, Derek. You know, the Heritage Society is dedicated to preserving the rich history of Houston, not only preserving it, but sharing it. And you can't really talk about Houston's history without talking about the legacy of Jack Yates. It's so significant for this Juneteenth episode of Houston Life, and we're so lucky to have an actual relative of Mr. Yates. Martha Whiting-Goddard is here with us, and we're lucky enough to have a chat with her. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us on this special episode.
Thank you for having us today here in Sam Houston Park at the Heritage Society.
Which you are a member of.
Yes, I'm a member of the Heritage Society, and we're here in the park in front of the Jack Yates house.
Now, I just learned not too long ago that this is a house that you spent some significant time in until you were 12 years old. Did you realize at the time the significance and what it would actually mean to this city and our history?
Well, yes, because it was a generational home. Our Aunt Pinky, who was a daughter of Jack Yates, and my grandmother, Nanny Yates County, they were the youngest two daughters of Jack Yates, and so they had grown up with all this around them, and then they passed it on to my mother, one of the granddaughters, and so you always had people coming in and out, and they knew so many people that you knew somebody was special.
Right.
It was Jack Yates. Plus, I went to Jack Yates High School.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you knew this with stories passed down, but for those people that don't know, like, what would you say if you could say to our viewers, like, what kind of man was he? What kind of stories are being passed down about your great-grandfather?
Well, I would say that he was a visionary with much integrity because of the things that he did for his community, Freedman's Town, and helping people learn how to adjust to being free.
Right.
And so not only did they have churches, but they also purchased land for Emancipation Park. And working with the North American Home Baptist, Jack and his daughter, Mariah Sharkey, went around and set up churches throughout 5 or 6 counties near Houston.
Right.
So when people came here from outside, they would come to Antioch Missionary Baptist Church because they knew him and they knew his daughter. They had met them out in the counties surrounding, helping them set up churches and learn how to live as free people.
Yeah, and he was someone who obviously was a reverend, hence the Baptist church that people were flocking to. My favorite part, I think, when I'm reading the story is about his kind of rebel side, how he secretly learned to read and write and then wanted to share that knowledge with everyone else. And then getting this house erected, the first Black Houston 2-story house, was a huge deal to have that foresight. And I mean, what does that mean to you when you kind of reflect back on that?
Well, it shows that he was, as I said, he was a visionary, but where he came from in Virginia, his brother and his brother-in-law were part of the Union Army that came here with General Granger to free the enslaved people in Texas.
Right.
And so they helped him in terms of building this house. They knew how to do carpentry and masonry and how to work together to achieve a goal. And that's the same thing that went into Emancipation Park being built with Trinity United Methodist Church and Antioch Baptist Church. People knew how to work together because they knew if they all worked together, they could do big things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you come here, this is the heart of Houston right now, and this feels like just the perfect place to celebrate Juneteenth. It's somewhere where you can come and learn about the history. And what would you tell people in that spirit of teamwork and building together? Is there any particular message you think your great-grandfather or you and the Yates family, what is your message to, like, the future generations and really just the public of Houston?
Well, I'd say because Jack Yates stressed God and education, those were 2 goals that he had, as well as property ownership, entrepreneurship. There were many things that he emphasized, but always if you put God first and you taught other people how to become educated so they could see they're being given the opportunity to go further. And because he showed them how to save money, to buy land, so they could prosper themselves to pass on things to generations to follow. So it's not just about you, it's about your future. And so he saw that, and he knew that, and that's why he and the members of Antioch and the members of Trinity with Reverend Dibble, they worked together to put a park, to $800 together to build a park that's still there today.
Martha Whiting-Goddard, thank you so much for that important message. So important still today. And we are not done. We need to go explore, go inside this house where you spent such a significant chunk of your life in. We're going to do that very soon on Houston Life, this very special Juneteenth episode of Houston Life.